thank you all for joining us. These double features have been interesting to do back-to-back podcast.
Yeah.
And to do like a short podcast at the start of this too.
Like
So
a warm-up, yeah.
Yeah. So we just got done recording our reactions to episode 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is what we were just talking about there. You guys can go find that on the Reactor Core, which is one of our other podcasts. But yeah, that's a show that we haven't really figured out a good format for that show yet. However, I think these are working. What we've been doing for
Captain's
this.
Log?
No, not
the recent ones.
Captain's
the
Log,
new
but
guys.
just the like really short 20 to 30 minute thing like that. That is kind of what I envisioned for it, but it never happened, right? And so I think kind of forcing us to stop, right? We get on at 8:30. We have to stop at 9 so we can do the Captain's Log. I think helps us to be like, okay, let's just get to what we need to say, and then we're good to go. But yeah, it's been good. It's been fun. I think so. I think so at least.
Yeah.
Melissa, tell me about your week. What have you been up to?
I've had a good week. I got a new bedspread back here. Did you notice?
I saw that. Yeah, I did.
It went to different shade of pink. It's still pink, Kyle.
It's a little bit lighter.
Yes. I got a new Brooklinen comforter and a duvet. I really upped my game. It's amazing. It feels like a cloud. It's so puffy. I feel like I'm staying in a fancy pink hotel, like in Wes Anderson's The Grand Budapest Hotel. I think they'd have something like this.
There you go. Brooklinen, please sponsor us. Hashtag not
please. I love you. You gave me some free towels. I love my free towels also.
Oh, nice. Did they just be like, hey, you spent this much, here's a free towel?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
right.
Cool.
Yeah. I got some deal where I got 2 free hand towels. Very nice.
That's awesome. Good stuff. What was the last thing that I bought myself? Besides, well, what's the not boring? I guess comics. That's the last thing. That's like, this is not essential that I just bought for myself. I bought a bunch of comics. But let's see, I bought Superman, the Man of Steel, Omnibus Volume 2, which is like the post-crisis Superman stuff.
Okay.
So I'm.
What year was Crisis again?
It was like 85, 84-ish.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like right in the middle. Yeah, I don't remember the exact year. Too bad there's no such device or something in front of me that can tell me.
I could have also Googled this,
such
but I was scared it wasn't going to be a neat answer. Like the answer to when did Crisis on Infinite Earths happen was going to be shockingly amorphous. Like, well, it started in Superman issue this, but it didn't finish until Martian Manhunter issue this. And then there's one more issue and another story.
It's not that bad. The Crisis on Infinite Earths was its own title, so it was not like it happened in this one, and then you have to read that book, and then this book over here. You just had to read Crisis on Infinite Earths. First one came out in April 1985, and it wrapped up in March 1986. So there you go, all that stuff, and then as a result, they redid a bunch of the origin stories of some of the superheroes, including Superman, and John Byrne's The Man of Steel was the book that they made for that one.
Kyle, my brain has been broken now because you told me when that took place and my brain calculated it into, so between Halt and Catch Fire season 2 and season 3. That's when in time this happened.
Yep. So don't be surprised. I mean, they've made references to the Terminator and Star Wars, and there might be some, because we know that. I mean, it would probably be more Marvel, so there might be like a Secret Wars reference, since Chris Cantwell is also writing some Marvel comics and stuff like that. So who knows? We've already seen Black Spider-Man action figure in that show, but yeah, we've been watching *Halt and Catch Fire* on the review show, another one of our podcasts, and that's been a lot of fun. We're talking about season 3 on Sunday. We're getting there. There's one more season after this, which we'll do next month.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Yeah, I still don't know what I want to pitch for what we do after that. Still have to come up with some things, but this has been a good show. Highly recommend it.
Yes. Lots of fun. A wild, emotional time. Kyle, how has your week been?
My week has been okay. It was slower at work, which is good. That helps me to relax during the week. But I also, for Gino, one of our co-hosts on Crossplay, I've been working on some stuff for him, working on a new transition and cam overlay for his Twitch streams and stuff like that. So he should be debuting that, I think, this weekend. But I also want to give him a shout out because it is his birthday weekend. So happy birthday, Gino.
Happy birthday, Gino.
Yeah, indeed. But that's what I've been working on. And then today was interesting because I work basically from 11 to 5 each day.
Oh, yeah. You are part-time.
I am technically part-time, yeah. So it's not much. But I wake up at like the last minute that I can do. Like I get out of bed at like 10:57 and then like roll out here, maybe put some clothes on and then clock in. And today I woke up, I was checking Twitter, all that stuff, and I was like, all right, time to get out of bed. And immediately when I grabbed the covers to fling them off me, boom, power the power goes out at my house. And I was like, okay, that's strange. Maybe it'll be back on in a second, because without power, I can't use the internet, which means I can't work. So
yeah, and you don't need internet for a bed.
I don't need internet for a bed, no.
I mean, maybe there's somebody out there making smart beds.
Look, I wouldn't put it. You remember back in the day when we used to see those infomercials for those beds that would like fold up and you would like watch.
Oh my God, yes, my parents have those.
Yeah, I always wanted one, and now I don't want one, but still I was like, that's the future. Beds will move on their own.
Yeah, they can make it flat, L. The two shapes.
L-shaped, because they did the thing where like your back was like up and reclining like a chair, but then there was like that hump for your legs.
Right, yeah, it's like a heart monitor shape.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. My bed does not have Wi-Fi capabilities. It's just a normal bed.
May feel like a cloud, but is not connected to it.
Right. I basically signed in on my phone and was like, hey, the power's out at my house, so I can't really sign on to my computer, so I'll keep you all posted. And then like half an hour later, the power is still not on, all that stuff. Texted my roommates who were all out at work. I was like, so the power's out, and it's been out for like half an hour or so. And then one of my roommates checked the power outage stuff, and they were like, yeah, so they're aware but they're not going to fix it until like between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. today. So I was like, huh. Okay, so I mentioned that to my work. I was like, they know, but they're not going to be able to fix it until this afternoon. And they were like, well, that's happened to me, so we understand. Like, we'll see you on Monday. And I had the day off. I had a relaxing day. I didn't really have to do a thing. So
wow,
good
weird.
end to my week. Start of a 3-day weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So living large here at the Springer household.
Were you just reading comics in the dark?
No, I was listening to podcasts. Eventually, the power did come back on. I also maybe failed to mention that to my work, but because I had basically mentioned like, hey, I'm probably not going to be working today.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm not gonna let them know. I'll just take the day. But yeah, did some more work on the computer for Gino stuff. Sent that off to him. Listened to a bunch of podcasts. I watched all of Invincible, the first 3 that are out. This is the new animated show that's on Amazon Prime. And it's really freaking good. I like it a lot. Yeah.
Nice.
We'll get back to that in just a sec. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to number 136 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined as always by Melissa Wilkinson.
Uh-huh.
Indeed. Melissa, do you have any interest in Invincible?
I imagine I should. So there's 3 episodes out now. We'll get a new episode weekly until how many?
There's 8 total. So there's 5 more. So I think, I guess like end of April is when it wraps up.
8's manageable. I can check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, they are 40-minute long-ish.
Okay.
So yeah, they're not the half an hour stuff. So they are pretty lengthy. I definitely recommend it. I actually recommend checking out the comic because I think you would really enjoy it. But I
know the comic's good, but it's so long. It's like if I start this, I'm signing away the next year and a half of my life.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So from the first 3 so far, it's really good, and they are being very faithful to the comic. It starts off a little like slightly differently, but is more to the point of what it turns into. The first volume of Invincible, or like the first volume or 2, is maybe a little slow, and it seems like if that's all you read, you're just going to be like, this is not all that great. It's just kind of run-of-the-mill generic superhero stuff. But it's like by the end of that first like chunk, that is just like, oh shit, this is what this thing is, and then it changes completely. Sam is in the chat with us. Hey Sam, how's it going?
Hi Sam.
And says Stephen Yeun is in it. Yes, he is. He voices the main character. So is J.K. Simmons. And Melissa, you've pitched the show twice. The female spy show.
Oh, Killing Eve.
What's the actress's name? What's her name?
Oh, there's Sandra Oh and the lady who's not Sandra Oh.
I'm talking about Sandra Oh. She plays the
mom. Good,
mom.
Because that's the one who I know.
Yeah. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of other voice actors who I'm sure you guys all know and all of that stuff. But it's good. I think when we covered Irredeemable, this is similar-ish story. Not exactly the same and stuff like that, but the same same style of stuff. If
Okay.
that makes sense. But yeah.
All right.
It's good. Highly recommend checking it out. First 3 are up on Amazon Prime.
Okay. Helpful to know about. Speaking of superhero materials on streaming services, I did watch the Snyder Cut. Me and our movie Discord, we camped out. We spent all day Sunday watching this thing.
I haven't made it there yet, but I've made it through
Understandable.
Man of Steel and the Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman.
Okay.
So I've seen those. I don't know if I want to watch Wonder Woman next. I'm definitely not watching Suicide Squad. I might just go straight to Justice League after this. But I will do the theatrical one first because I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
So we'll see. But
this is the path you've chosen.
Yes.
I had a good time. It is definitely a more fleshed out story. The characters are much more vibrant. There's a lot added to Cyborg, which is not news. I think that's the major point coming out of this is more Cyborg. The headline on the newspapers, more Cyborg. Cyborg a good boy, it says.
My kind of newspaper, right? More cyborgs.
More cyborg. Not more cyborgs. The one. We see more of the one we already have.
Indeed.
Yeah, we made it through. It was the length, is certainly something to deal with. I think it was paced okay.
Interesting. I heard that they do like chapters.
Yes.
So like here's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. So it does have these like natural intermissions put in.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I think the final chapter is like an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh man.
So like that's where you
that is like
stop.
The main chunk.
Right. It's the big meaty battle.
I love those
I don't think this
battles.
There's a scene I want to talk about, and it's early on in the film, so it's not really a spoiler, but it's what was supposed to be the introductory scene for Flash. You see Flash, he's going to like a dog daycare to apply for a job. He's got all these side jobs to try and pay for going to school for criminal justice to get his dad out of jail. And so he's interviewing at this doggy daycare, and outside Iris West gets into a car accident. And it's like a truck that it runs into like a hot dog cart, and it's going to like hit her car. And so Barry, he runs out there. Time's real slow. He's going to run out there and save her. He's taking his shoes off. He's not wearing shoes. Presumably because he runs so fast he would burn his shoes, and he's not wearing his suit. He's just wearing like civilian boy clothes. So he runs out there barefoot. There's the hot dogs flying through the air in this like beautiful angelic slow motion. All of these hot dogs. And he like takes a second. He like admires Iris. I don't know if they already knew each other. I don't know too much about this. He looks at her. It's clear he has a crush on her. He saves her. He helps some folks. He takes a hot dog and he puts it in his pocket. And this is not a fully constructed hot dog. It's a lone wiener.
Hot dogs everywhere. A lone
right?
wiener.
He's a hungry boy. But he restrains himself. He could stuff his pants full of hot dogs, and he doesn't.
So it is only the hot dog. It's not like the hot dog in a
a single wiener. He puts a single wiener in his pocket, and then later, he's back in the doggy daycare.
Is that a wiener in your pocket? Are you just excited to see me, Flash?
This is a very overt metaphor, yes. But then he's back at the doggy daycare, and to the lady who works there, it's like he hasn't moved at all, and he's just like, "Oh boy, wow, whew, there's a car crash outside. Wow, these dogs are sure agitated. Good thing I've brought this hot dog with me to calm them down. That's my secret. I always have a hot dog in my pocket. That's why you should hire me to work with the dogs." And I regret that the scene was not in the theatrical cut, because we almost had, as a theatrical movie-going audience in the year 2017, and on like Thanksgiving weekend or whenever it was, we went to the theater and we saw this barefoot boy just put a single, like, lonely, naked hot dog in his pocket. And he's a superhero. He's our protagonist. This hot dog boy. It's the standout scene of the film for me. I want all of them to have a scene like this.
So the thing with the Flash is, in a lot of versions of him, because he's so fast, his metabolism
they do talk
works
about that
really fast, right?
But he shows restraint. I guess this is his this is what shows us he's a hero, is that he didn't take all of the hot dogs. And he could have, they're just going to fall on the ground. So he could have taken, maybe this is a tonal thing. Maybe it logically would have made sense, but tonally, we can't, Barry can have one
save the hot dogs,
dog.
save the world.
If Barry is shoving hot dogs down his pants haphazardly, maybe that was a bridge too far.
Oh my God. Amazing.
I want there to be another cut. It's just Barry taking
the
more hot dogs.
Cut.
I want him to have enough hot dogs to last the rest of the film.
Release the hot dog cut.
I want him to go up against Steppenwolf and he throws a hot dog at him.
He needs a moment like in Lost where he's pulling a hot dog out of his pocket. Someone scares him. He's just like, and throws it at him. It hits Steppenwolf right in the face. He just gets hit with a hot dog.
I want it. Yeah, you have that to look forward to. And then there's 3.5 hours of material after the hot dog scene.
Okay.
I'm sorry it peaks so early.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not expecting much from both of them. I've heard the Snyder Cut is better. But again, there is the it's 4 hours long. It's not paced very well according to some people, or it's better, but it's marginally better. Like, you can absolutely say it's a better film, but it's still not a good film, is what I'm hearing. But then there are some that's like, yeah, it's great, it's good, more Cyborg.
Yeah, there certainly are a lot of parts of it that I think are done very well, and then some other parts where I was bored, and I wished there was a hot dog
cut. If you had to ask for another franchise to be redone in this way, like what franchise or movie would you want to be like recut, new scenes put in, like not necessarily to make it a better film, if that's the route you want to go with your thing, we can go down that road, but just like, what's a movie you think deserves more movie?
Well, the first thing I thought of is that years ago, Topher Grace, of Venom, Grace of Venom, he wasn't acting much, and somebody was like, where has Topher Grace been? And he had been, he gotten into editing, and he had edited all 3 Star Wars prequels together into a new film. Like, he just took the highlights of it. Like, he took the footage of all the prequels and restructured it into a more tightly knit, cohesive, Anakin-focused story. And he just screened it to a couple friends at his house. And there was word going around Topher Grace's Star Wars prequels are amazing. And I've always wanted to see that. I want the Topher cut.
Okay, I had no idea about that. I didn't know
think about it several times a year.
Man,
anytime I haven't heard from an actor in a while, I presume that's what they're doing.
They're trying to do. They're like, no, I must fix Star Wars.
Or something.
The prequels are good, damn it. We need to figure it out. How do we make them believe?
They're just having a hellish time in an editing room of their own making.
Yeah. It's that meme of just well, if we link all this stuff, right there, it's the crazy thing, but we can cut that thing out, and then, yeah. I don't know. I think that is one of the ones up there on a lot of people's list of we need, there is a good story in the prequels in there, but they just that's not what we got, right? It's not. Yeah, so that makes sense. I think that's a good one. I thought you were about to say Spider-Man 3, because to be honest, I like just the fact that movie was as bad as it was, and it was just so bloated. Like I wonder if there is a better version of that film if it's a longer film.
Right, we spend more time with everybody. Like Gwen Stacy gets to be a real character in that movie.
Exactly. So does Venom.
Right.
It's not just like, why is he here? And then the third act.
Yeah, we get one scene with like John Jameson to see how he's doing after Mary Jane left him at the altar. He's part of it. I would love, a 4-hour cut of Spider-Man 3.
That'd be an interesting one for sure.
Let's
see. What would I do? What movie deserves more movie?
Or any movie that you think could be recut, like the Hobbit trilogy of films have also been criticized for being bloated. You put a lot of stuff in there to distracts from Bilbo's main story. And I went to see them. I enjoyed them. I've been thinking about rewatching them. There's more Lee Pace in that. Maybe I'll watch these to I
saw one of them.
Yeah, I'll watch them as like an after dinner cocktail, like after I finish *Halt and Catch Fire*. But I liked him fine. I'm like, I'd rather it is too much movie than not enough movie. Like, I'd like the edited down. We've narrowed down the scope of the Hobbit trilogy to really just be the contents of the Hobbit book. It's Bilbo.
That makes sense.
Focused.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that'd be another good one. I guess I'm thinking more of like, what would I like to see more of? And I think more of Blade, like Wesley Snipes Blade stuff. Not that those ones are bad, though. They did kind of go downhill by the third one. That is not a great movie, but I want more of it. Like I felt like we didn't get enough of that, and I hope he makes a cameo in the new Blade stuff down the road. They have to. That'd
be nice.
They really have to.
I watched Coming to America recently. Wesley Snipes is in that, and he's a delight to watch. It's fun.
I have to be honest, I haven't seen the original.
I have seen it once. I watched it one year on the 4th of July.
Is that like a America. 4th of July movie?
No, it just has America in the name of it, and that's why we watched it on the 4th of July. We also watched Wet Hot American Summer. Yeah, it's a fine time.
Gotcha. Let's see, what else would be a good one? I'm thinking of even like spy movies. Like what if there was a different like Bourne trilogy, like more to that, or just like a recut of them into like a tighter story? I mean, they are very, very tightly made stories in that, but if there is like, is there a way to kind of combine them into one thing? I'm just like, here is the 3-hour version that has all of them.
Yeah. I would watch 4 hours of Mission Impossible 4.
Oh, true. True. That's a good one. Cars. Right? Because like,
yeah, like it gets too deep into the lore. Good, uncomfortably deep into the lore.
Yeah, Cars 1 was good and it was a hit. And then Cars 2, I remember just being like, what were they thinking with this? Like,
yeah, it's like a weird story where Mater becomes a spy. I saw it once in theaters. Like it came out when my nephew was still young enough that we're like, we'll take him. Maybe he'll like it. I think I had a fun enough time. I have thought about what if I watched the Cars trilogy? How would that play for me?
That's an interesting one. What else? Oh, here's an interesting one. Here's an interesting two to take the like. Let's take really bad movies and see if they can be made better by just like what's the like uncut version. Avatar: The Last Airbender. M. Night Shyamalan released the Shyamalan cut of
from what I have heard about that movie, it is like all of season 1 squished into like 107 minutes.
Yeah, they cut out so much, and so much that is essential to the overall story that it's just like, you guys don't see the bigger picture here, do you? Like, you guys we're just like, well, I mean, you know, that's not important. It's like, no, they're a major player and you cut them out entirely. Like, anyways, that was not a good movie. I don't think it could be fixed with more stuff in there, but it'd be interesting to see nonetheless. And then on top of that, the Dragon Ball Z movie, the live action Dragon Ball Z movie.
I would want. What a wild film! I would love to see what that does with like twice the time.
I refused. I was like, this looks so bad. They ruined this.
I will say it is not remotely loyal to Dragon Ball Z, but I watched it and I thought, if you don't know what Dragon Ball Z is, this is all right as just
Dragon Ball Evolutions
action.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just like un-action comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder if you showed it to somebody contextless, they'd be like, I don't understand why all these guys look weird, but I guess I had fun. I could every time Piccolo came on screen, I could not stop laughing.
That's so funny. Yeah. I don't know what else. I mean, I guess if you go down that route of just like really bad movies, there is the like Avatar Dragon
I would
Ball.
watch 4 hours of the Star Wars holiday special. I want to see the Star Wars holiday special events play out.
Yeah.
It's almost real time already.
Yeah.
Just fill in the rest of the time with more nonsense bits they're watching on their space TV. It's 3 times as much B. Arthur.
I was about to say the Netflix original Death Note, the like Americanized Death Note one, because that was also just bad. Like, that was like, how you guys don't understand the story, do you? Like, oh my god. But yeah, that would be an interesting one, because I like Keith Stanfield. Like, we've mentioned that on the review show.
In it?
He's in that. Yeah, he plays L.
I gotta tell you, I don't know anything about Death Note. I know it's a boy who I think also doesn't wear shoes, and he doesn't have a hot dog either. So he's only got half of the equation. He doesn't wear shoes, and if he writes your name down in a notebook, you die.
So,
and I think he just like wears a sweater and like hangs out on the roof. I don't know what happened. I know there was a bad Netflix adaptation,
but yeah.
But I don't even have a picture of that in my head. I don't think I ever saw an ad for it. I don't have a single image of the live action Death Note.
God.
I didn't know Keith Stanfield was in it.
That was when he wasn't really known yet. Like, he was just starting to get known. He's also a big anime fan. So, like, that was just one of the things of, like, yeah, Death Note. I'll be in a Death Note movie, and I get to play one of the main characters. Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, boy, yeah, that film is just bad. That is just, like, you guys just, like, completely don't understand what this story is about, huh? Oh, okay. Sure. But yeah, that'd be an interesting one to watch.
Have you ever seen a movie that's based on some property that you don't know? Like, you know that it is based on something, but you've never interacted with that thing and you enjoy it, but the fans do not?
I guess you could say Star Trek is my only maybe one with that, because I've only seen the first J.J. Abrams movie, and I didn't like it.
Kyle, you've said this to me 4 times. I dig that movie a lot. that movie weirdly imprinted on me very heavily in a way I don't feel like happened to other people.
I don't understand why people liked that. Oh, we just watched My Hero Academia. That's one that I'm like, okay, I've seen season 1 twice now. I don't understand why people are into this. Like,
no, but I'm asking for like a thing you liked. God, like, I did not know much about. I knew like the basic American citizen amount of information about Superman when I went to see Man of Steel, and I thought this works for me. And I felt self-conscious that made me want to get more into Superman, and people who already were into Superman did not like it.
Yeah, I didn't like that film. Yeah, and upon my rewatch this past week, it was just reminded of just like, they get everything wrong. It's so wrong. Like,
see,
like
I don't know what's
with that
wrong.
The like the way the film looks and the way the fight scenes are, it's amazing. Like, it looks great. It's just the philosophy and the mindset behind the way that Ma and Pa Kent raised Superman is not what those characters would have done. And I think it's a great interpretation of Superman if you look at it as an alternate reality. But that's the thing. They're trying to pass this off as the like, no, hey, this is Superman. This is him. He's the one.
But like, it's the Superman for now. Like 3 years from now, there will be another one. It was just the most prolific one of that decade.
So I mean, like the whole thing with Ma and Pa Kent is that like they taught him to hide who he was, that people should fear him, and that like they're not ready for that, which I know Superman doesn't really fit the whole like LGBTQ metaphor. That's not exactly that whole thing, but there is this air of that, of like, hey, you're different. You should hide that. You don't want to scare these people and stuff. And that's not what Ma and Pa Kent was about at all. Like, that's not like, but I can also understand it in a way of like, hey, you're an alien, and that the whole line of like, if people know you're not from this world, that will change how we think about existence and stuff. And yes, they're absolutely right. That will change things. But Zack Snyder wants to do this like deep philosophical look of like, okay, this guy is an alien. So how do I bring aliens into this story and make it like, it's a weird take in that way that I think could have been really, really cool. But then because of the things that Ma and Pa Kent taught him, Pa Kent dies for no reason. And then at the end of that film, he kills the bad guy. Like, that's like, Superman doesn't do that. However, Superman can do that, and they have explored that in the comics. And so that's what I was hoping to see in like Batman vs Superman, which they almost started to get into. Like, Batman gets involved in that stuff, right? Because of all the destruction, right? Of like, this is not good. Like, we need to control him and be like, yo, dude, hold your horses, calm down. Like, you can't be doing this. But at the end of the day, they really don't deal with it in a way that was like, hey, there needs to be consequences for your actions and stuff like that. And one of the Superman stories that made me fall in love with the character was exactly that. He ends up killing someone, and it is the like fallout and just like his personal like, oh my God, like, what did I just do? Like, if that's what I'm gonna end up doing or resorting to, I don't know if I should be here on Earth. And he like exiles himself, all of that stuff. And he has to deal with all of that stuff. And it's amazing. It's great. And this universe just doesn't deal with it. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
No. So, and this was my issue. It seemed okay to me. I didn't love the movie, but like I had an appreciation for it because I didn't know anything else. And I had this self-conscious feeling like,
sure,
this doesn't feel wrong to me, but I know it feels wrong to other people. Like, how do I deal with this? What is my relationship to the movie okay? Have you ever just wandered into something without the context and had a good time, and somebody with the context had a bad time?
I don't know. Not that I can think of.
I've often wondered about, like, I don't know anything about Aragon or like Percy Jackson or Hunger Games. Like this whole generation of young adult novels that were like a little bit after my time that have had assorted movie adaptations that I think are, except for Hunger Games, those are well regarded, but like mostly aren't super. Like, I know people did not like the Percy Jackson films, but I've often wondered, like, if I have no context, if I've never picked up the book, if I just know that it is a book, and so I can imagine there may be some awkward points for something didn't translate correctly, even if I don't know what it was they were trying to translate, how would that play for me as a newcomer? What if I liked it when everybody else hated it? What would happen to me then?
I don't know. Man, like it's hard to be honest, it's hard for me to remember all the movies and stuff that I went to go see like as a teenager. I think that would maybe be one of the things. Like there must have been something in that time where I was like, oh yeah, I enjoyed this, and then just didn't know anything. Actually, now that I mention it, and speaking of Zack Snyder, maybe the one that I do was the Watchmen movie. I like the Watchmen movie. I think it's a good movie. Yes. I watched the movie first, and then I read the comic. I think the comic is a million times better. I see why people don't like the movie, but I think it's a good adaptation of the book as faithful as they could, while like having to change some things for time and stuff like that, with still trying to keep it as close to, with a few exceptions. But yeah, that like I remember enjoying that film. I still enjoy it.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I've thought about revisiting it.
Percy Jackson is the one I keep mixing up with Artemis Fowl.
Yeah. I don't know anything about it. I have thought about, like I said, just wandering into one of those other young adult franchise movies blind. Like, what does this do for me as an outsider? Can I get anything out of this?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. But
let's talk about fried food.
Ooh, fried food. My favorite.
So while I'm watching the Snyder Cut, I told myself, okay, as a treat, when it gets to intermission, you get to like order some lunch. And I was going to order from this one restaurant I really love. I found out they were closed on Sunday. Never tried to order from them on Sunday before. Well, I got it tonight, so I was able to circle back.
That's good. What's the restaurant then?
Oh, it's a Vietnamese restaurant around here called DD Mao. It's very good. Cool. But they were closed on Sunday, so I was just looking at DoorDash, seeing what else they had, and I found Guy Fieri's Flavortown Grill.
Nice.
I'm
Welcome
not
to
familiar
Flavortown.
I was welcomed. I was aware of Flavortown as a concept. I didn't know Flavortown was in my own backyard. I thought I would have to wait years and travel miles to go to Flavortown. Turns out it's some pop-up in the area, and I was able to order from it. It got me a burger with my super melty cheese and donkey sauce.
We'll circle back. We'll definitely circle back to donkey sauce. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
when you mentioned that, you're like, I didn't know that Flavor Town was in my own backyard. I thought I'd have to search like thousands of miles. In my mind, I just saw a flash of like a Food Network show where you are the star, and it's entitled In Search of Flavor Town, and it's like a Lord of the Rings adventure with Melissa searching for Flavor Town.
I should host a Food Network show. This is one of my, like, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, I want to do that.
That'd be amazing.
Eat, I can be enthusiastic about the eating.
Yeah,
I can wear various cute outfits. I can talk to the people. These are my skills. Please hire me, Captain Food Network. Yeah, I got my burger. It was very lightly sauced, which means I don't feel like I had the true effect of donkey sauce. Right, it didn't stand out to me. It just sort of blended together and everything was generally good.
Donkey sauce. What is it?
I don't know, because I couldn't get a lot of it, which on the other hand, I appreciate, because the fact that it was sauced more finely, that it was very lightly sauced, meant that it traveled well. The burger was in great condition when it got to me, and I will trade that. I'd like to have I'd rather have a slightly underflavored burger that's in a stable condition than a very flavorful burger that's going to like fall apart on me. Okay,
here we
Guy
go.
Fieri finally reveals what is in his trademark donkey sauce. Okay, hold on. It is. Hold on.
Down the website
like
here.
They didn't just give me like a bulleted list. I have to really read. It's a mayo mixture, garlic, mayonnaise, mustard, Worcestershire sauce, salt, and pepper.
Yeah,
that's good. It tastes like that stuff, Kyle. You know what that is.
Okay. Interesting.
And then I also had these really good fried pickles.
I'm not a fan of pickles.
I am, and you fry them, and they were spicy from somewhere. I don't know what part of them was spicy. It was. I had an experience with a food auteur and a cinema auteur at the same time, eating my Flavor Town burger, watching the Snyder Cut.
That's awesome. What a great experience.
And then later this week, I ate a block of fried cheese, not related to Guy Fieri at all, surprisingly. The Flavor Town menu did not offer brick of fried cheese, but HelloFresh did.
You went to Flavorville instead.
Right, I got Hello Flavor. It was delivered in a box to my doorstep. They sent me a meal. They didn't do it of their own volition. They offered me the option, and I requested. I volunteered to take on the grilling cheese. It was like I made a burger, but instead of a burger being in the middle, they sent me this block of cheese. They're like, cut it in half so it's like two like chunky cheese slices. Sure. You put it in a pan and you just fry it. You fry the cheese itself. And it gets like a crispy exterior coating. And the inside gets a little gooey, but it still holds its shape. It's still like a square. And you slap it in the middle of a burger bun where burger would go.
It's like a cheese patty.
Yes, it's a cheese patty. It's a fried cheese patty.
Interesting.
On a burger with like caramelized onions and a chimichurri sauce. And it was one of the best things I've ever had. It was so good. And it was dangerous. Like they gave me a meal for two people because they don't have bachelorette plans for one. The lowest meal you can get is for two. My roommate, she's lactose intolerant. She's not eating it. I'm like, Melissa, you can't eat this twice. You can't eat this twice in 1 week. You're going to die. So I like cooked it up and I told my mom to come over and get it.
Death by cheese would be the way to go, though. Wouldn't be a bad way.
Cheese brick, yeah.
Yeah, death by cheese brick.
I recommend it to you, Kyle. If you go to your store and you see like a brick of, it's labeled grilling cheese. I think it's a specific product because it didn't have like the HelloFresh logo on the label of that individually wrapped cheese brick. Look up grilling cheese. Get you some grilling cheese. It's going to change your life. Have it with some caramelized onions.
I do see some. Was the brand Yanni? Like the
I don't know.
saxophonist.
I don't remember what
it
said. It just did not say Hello Fresh.
Forms a delicious golden crust when grilled or pan fried. Yeah, it looks like a chicken patty, but it's cheese.
It's a cheese brick. You cut the cheese brick in half.
Who cut the cheese? There you go. Yeah. Who knows? Interesting. I've had a fried PB&J.
That's good. Was it deep? Was it battered and deep fried?
Yeah, it was.
Carnival.
It was that. Well,
carnival
not
in your
actually
mouth.
A carnival. That was. I mean, yeah, it's like a carnival food, but they had it at my college's cafeteria every so often, and it was a rare thing that they did. But every once and again, yeah, we have fried peanut butter and jellies. They would just make them for lunch there.
Delicious, gooey.
So, and it was good, but yeah, it was a little much, I think. It was fine because you do have that salty and sweet, and then you have the like greasy crispiness of the fried outside thing. So it's very good, but if you don't like that big sugar rush, because they also covered it in like powdered sugar and stuff on the outside, so it was just like, oh, this is good, but it's a lot.
This is a controversial opinion. One of the few controversial opinions I have beyond liking most movies.
Melissa has a hot take.
I'm not super big into powdered sugar coatings. They're too much mess for the sweetness level you get off of them. And it's never, if you can do like a fine, delicate dusting, great, I'll accept that. But like if you're getting a carnival funnel cake and it's dumped on there in like a centimeter thick pile and it's just getting all over the place, it's not worth it. I'd rather just eat it plain than like get everything all messy and sticky and I'm covered in powder. I look like a ghost. Like, just make whatever the thing is sweeter to begin with and skip the powdered sugar.
I see what you're saying. However, I would hold that same opinion if more things had powdered sugar. But they normally don't. Like, you don't, like, that at least is not typically a household, like, cooking thing. Maybe it is in some families, especially if you're a baker, which I know you are.
I have powdered sugar in my house at all times.
I don't think I've met anyone that has powdered sugar just in their house, in their pantry. Maybe I have and I just didn't know it, but like growing up, that was never a thing, right? Yeah, when we like wanted snacks and we were just like, what's all in here? You know, I was the kid that would have loved powdered sugar on a bunch of stuff, and it wasn't a thing. And so it is this like delicacy of like, ooh, a funnel cake with powdered sugar, or like powdered sugar on my French toast, amazing. Or like I had that one time, powdered sugar on my fried PB&J. But since it doesn't happen that often, I'm fine with the mess. It's a delicious mess.
Okay. I'd rather, like, this is like with the burger again. I will gladly take something being 10% less delicious for it to be 50% cleaner.
10% more delicious, 50% cleaner.
It's a ratio. It's very important to me.
Yeah. Melissa, I have to ask before we completely skip this. Did you hear anything about this Cinnamon Toast Crunch debacle?
I just saw that there was a YouTube video about it in my subscription list. Chad Tronic put out a video called Cinnamon Toast Crunchspiracy. And this is a channel that previously covered when people were getting so-called variety bags of Starburst. like the Halloween pack of Starburst, where it's 2 Starburst squares inside a plastic wrapper on both of those. Sure. And it's a bag full of these wrapped up pears.
Yeah.
Like, people were getting these for Halloween, opening them up, and it's nothing but pink. And they're like, I didn't buy like a custom pink bag. It's supposed to be a variety pack. Where's everything else? Why is it only pink? And all of these people were tweeting at Starburst, and they're just like, wow, lucky you. Oh boy, enjoy. What a treat. People are like, what happened?
No.
Why did all of these people get all pink bags?
Yeah, like that.
So we did a video about
happen.
that before. So I figured this was something else in that vein. And then you put that down on our topics list, and I'm like, what is happening? And I just clicked on the video. I only got like a minute into it, but I see that in the description it says, so a man, Jensen Karp, found shrimp tails in his Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal. Cinnamon Toast Shrimp on Twitter is going wild.
Yes. So I don't know all of the details, but I was on Twitter while this was happening, and everyone was just like losing their shit about like, what is happening? This is wild. So yeah, this guy tweeted out that he found shrimp tails in his Cinnamon Toast Crunch after he had eaten a bowl. I guess he went to like pour a second one or something, or it was like that next day he started and was like, what is this? But
I do have to say though, a shrimp tail is such a specific thing. You could not have eaten one by mistake. You would know if there was one in your mouth.
Right. Yeah. So he sees this thing and is like, hey, General Mills, what the fuck? And then they're just like, so yeah, it blew up into this whole big thing, but he tried to just be like, hey, what's happening? Like, why did I get this stuff? And essentially General Mills responded with, that's just sugar. That the like extra sugar that forms at the bottom of the bag, and it like it and he's just like, no, this is a shrimp tail. Like, I know what this is. It's so specific, right? And so he's DMing them back and forth and stuff like that. And at first they're like, oh, well, like, you should send us all of the stuff. And he's like, well, I don't want to send you all of the stuff because then I won't have the stuff. And then you can just say that I never had the stuff, right? So I'm not going to send you the stuff. And they're like, well, how about this? We'll send you an envelope and you can send us some of these stuff. And he's like, all right, that's fine. And then they keep talking, and then they switch their story to like, well, we'll need you to schedule a FedEx pickup. And he's like, I thought you said you were going to send me a prepaid envelope. Like, what is going on here? We didn't mention FedEx.
Well, you can have it can be prepaid, but you still have to tell FedEx to come get it from you. I used to have to do stuff like that for work.
Sure. But so that just by itself is the start of it, right? And just by itself is like, wow, that's wild. Like, this thing went viral on the internet. And it reminds us of all the stuff we used to hear back in the 90s and 2000s, where it's like, someone found a finger in their McDonald's chicken nuggets. What's up at McDonald's, And so because this went viral, people started investigating and being like, who is this guy? Let's look him up on Twitter.
He's a comedy guy. I don't know exactly what he's from, but I know I have heard his name in comedy
show business.
contexts.
He's made up some MTV shows before. He's worked, I think, with some musicians. I think he worked with Chance the Rapper early in his career. He's also married to Topanga from Boy Meets World.
Oh, yes.
So that was a strange thing, but his last name is Karp. Her last name is Fischel. They found shrimp tails in their cereal, and they apparently bought this at a Costco. It was a double bag thing, like one of those big boxes with 2 bags. They apparently bought it at a Costco off a street also named Topanga. So people are like, hey, look, no pun intended, but everything here is fishy. Your last name is Carp. Like, your wife's last name is Official. Right? Like, what is really going on here? And I'm not sure exactly how true all of that stuff is.
It's a developing story.
It was all of that stuff. So he then went to investigate his second bag. Uh-oh, the second bag looks like it's taped up at the bottom. That's not good. And so he starts opening it and looking at all of the stuff. He finds rat droppings in the bag and like dental floss and stuff like that. Yeah, just some string.
Even happen?
But
you don't have dental floss at work on the factory floor.
So here's what people think happened, because not only were the rat droppings in the bag, but they were baked into some of the squares. Like, you could clearly see them like baked in to this thing, and it's not like that's just a dark piece of cinnamon. It's like, no, that's something else. So he's, I guess, sending them off to a lab to be tested and all that stuff to like make sure that there actually are all that stuff. But what people are thinking is happening is that in the factory where they make and package this stuff, somehow a rat got into this all and was scavenging for food, and that's why you get the shrimp tails or the dental floss and all that stuff. But then, who knows? Like it appeared to be taped up. Like, the bag appeared to be taped up, so they don't know if that was like someone at the factory who was just like, oh shit, like hopefully no one will notice this, or if someone was tampering with the thing. So that whole thing was going wild, and then of course, like older coworkers and stuff of his start coming out and being like, oh boy, this guy. Where do I start? This guy has lied to my face multiple times. He's not a good guy to work with. I wouldn't believe a word he said. You know, this is strange. But they did like all say like he is a marketing genius. So no wonder this went viral, right?
Yeah, like I said, I know I've heard this name before. Maybe I have heard of him doing a prank like this. I don't know. I've heard of a guy doing a prank.
Sam mentions that, apparently he's an abusive asshole, and then says he got milkshake ducked in record time. Yeah, it was one of those crazy things that like organically just happens on Twitter, and it spreads like wildfire, and everyone is fascinated. It's like, what is happening? What is going on with this? So had to at least mention that, because it was crazy. So this is what you're missing out on when you're not on Twitter.
Every time I go on Twitter, I feel bad that I'm not making people have a more positive experience on Twitter.
Oh well. But let's see, there is a little bit more superhero stuff.
There is, yeah. Let's come back around to this.
Disney Plus has announced that Black Widow will be releasing for their like premiere stuff. For $30, and I forget the exact date, but it's this summer.
I think I remember somebody saying it's like shortly before Loki, which would put it in like early mid-June. I don't remember.
July 9th is when it says here. So I think it might be right after, because I think Loki is July.
Yes, that might be what I'm thinking
11th or something like that. Or no, is June 11th or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, Loki, and then I think this is right after. But we didn't hear about delays for anything else, but people were speculating, well, if this is what they're doing with Black Widow and it was delayed to this date, I wonder where they're going to put Shang-Chi and Eternals and Spider-Man. Because if they release them all this year, there'd be like 4 Marvel movies coming out between the summer and the end of the year. And that seems like a lot.
That's very concentrated.
Yeah. So I could see them moving Shang-Chi and Eternals back and having it be Black Widow and Spider-Man. And then Shang-Chi and Eternals after that.
Last I saw, I think Shang-Chi was like Labor Day weekend, and Eternals was, I think, still somewhere in November. But I guess we'll see how we go. We'll see. I think I understand. Delays are understandable, and I think that now that the Disney Plus shows are rolling out, I I can be more patient waiting for these things. Yeah, it's like I don't need 4 movies and several shows. I'll take 2 movies and several shows in 1 year. That's plenty. I'm okay.
Indeed. So I'm excited for that. I'm happy to pay the $30 fee to watch that one specifically. Yeah. But we shall see. And then today, the Suicide Squad trailer came out. What did you think about Suicide Squad, or the Suicide Squad?
The Suicide Squad. It looks fun. I was watching a reaction video to it from New Rockstars that mentioned, looking back on the trailer for Suicide Squad, that had a very cool trailer that had people excited. And then they were let down by the movie.
Suicide Squad trailer. It was amazing. And Eric Voss was saying that was produced by somebody who really didn't have anything to do with the production, but that this was a trailer like James Gunn personally oversaw and worked on a lot to get it to be very accurate to what he wanted us to know about the movie going into it. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good trailer. I'm not hooked 100% yet. I think this movie has a lot of, just a lot to make up for from the first one. So it's kind of fighting an uphill battle for me. But yeah, I did really like this. I enjoyed it. It looked fun. But we'll see. We'll see how they do. Hopefully it'll be a good one. I have faith in James Gunn. I think he will end up making something good with this. But yeah, I think it's interesting that the trailer has Warner Brothers. So I don't know. As we've seen over and over again, it takes very little to get me to like a movie. For sure. I know I will have fun. I always find a way to have fun. I don't know how I do it. I don't know how to pick up that fun and give it to other people so they're also having a good time. I feel weird having a good time when other people aren't. But anyway, yes, it looks fun. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's interesting that James Gunn now has enough clout that it just says, from the horribly beautiful mind of James Gunn. Right. I was expecting, and that's like arriving on the screen line by line, and the classic, from the guy who brought you Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, the fact that this is a trailer designed for people who already know who he is interesting. There's a Pib in the trailer. I felt like that was Mr. content Pib targeted specifically at me, a big Pib fan. Good stuff. Yeah, I liked what I saw so far. I still don't know exactly what the movie's going to be about. How did you feel about no need to. King Shark, who is being voiced by Sylvester Stallone? Returning from his appearance in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Right, yeah. The on-set presence of King Shark was Steve Agee. And I was initially disappointed that Steve Agee's not also going to do the voice, because he has a great voice. A big shark man who sounds like Steve Agee would be great. Agee is.
He's another one of the Ravagers in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. He's the guy who's like, you can't even buy boots with that money.
Okay, yeah.
He's that guy.
I'm looking at pictures now. I've seen him. I'm not super familiar.
He has another role in the movie. He's like one of those guys in the, at a computer at the command center with Amanda Waller. So that's why King Shark doesn't sound like him. He does have a very, not to underplay any range he might have, but I understand that, like, okay, you're a giant man, so please be our on-set, like, mocap for this giant character. Also, we want you to be seen, so you have this other speaking role somewhere else, and the shark will sound like a different second person.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I like the inclusion of King Shark. I don't know if I like that they kind of dumbed him down, it seems like, or he is they did the whole Groot treatment where he's just like, hand? What is this? He just.
But we see him like twice, and this might be something where. Like in We're Back, a Dinosaurs story, where they're just like big old,
like
they're just like big old dumb dinosaurs at the beginning until Julia Child gives them something to make them smart, and then they sound like John Goodman.
Sure, yeah.
I'm sure it'll be just like We're Back, a Dinosaurs story. He's more shark than man. As the movie goes on, he'll be more man than shark.
Yeah, I mean, they might do the whole thing that they did with Hulk in the comics, how they eventually did like Smart Hulk, right? And I guess in the MCU, where it's like, okay, you still have the big like Hulk powers, but you're also just as smart as Dr. Banner. So they might do something like that, and I kind of hope they do. I don't want him to just be the comedic relief. I mean, they're all going to be the comedic relief, but like I don't want him to be the comedic relief at the expense of him being a legitimate character, right?
Yeah, I'm sure the movie will find a way to balance. We have gags and we need gags, and when we need a time for like a more fleshed out character moment, we have that too.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be good. I'm looking.
Is that a movie for this year? Is that one of the HBO Max releases?
I would assume so. If it's coming out this yeah.
See, I don't. Yeah, it is. It is definitely locked in for this year, I think. Yeah, I think, yes. It's too many. We had like none movies, and now that we're trying to get more movies, my brain forgot how to hold on to dates.
Yeah.
Everything. Like, I know when James Bond is happening and everything else is really fuzzy.
Yeah. We'll see, though.
Melissa,
you had a question that you wanted to ask me for this show, and we haven't gotten to it yet. So let's dive in. You said you had a whole like spiel.
I did. I was thinking today about how exciting it is when new superhero media comes out, and it, like in your MCU or in your DCEU for what it is, and you get a tease, like a little cameo of the next movie, a tease for the next movie, and how that's really exciting. That's a good feeling. It's kind of what you come there for, not to downplay the movie itself that you were watching, the main characters you are watching.
Right.
But to have that thing to look forward to feels great. And to me, it's like, I love that this just keeps going on in these long series. I think this must be how it feels like sports. Like sports is just always happening. There will always be sports. It's not just like, well, the Seahawks have run their narrative course. We don't have new stories to tell with the Seahawks, so we're just going to do a finale of the Seahawks.
To be honest, I'd kind of like that. That'd be interesting.
And then
sounds like something they would do in Blazeball, right?
What? Sam's big into Blazeball, yes.
Yeah. Like the teams have like narrative arcs,
Mhm.
and things happen and they go away and they come back and people die and everything, something about peanuts, and everything is now peanuts, and I don't know, but
I was thinking about what if sports were more like the MCU? What if you did not know the entire season? You knew that there was a season, but you didn't know who your team was playing, and there had to be a teaser at the end of one game for the next game. Like, I looked up list of MLB teams. So let's say my own hometown Cardinals are in a game against the Boston Red Sox. And then at the end of the game, there's dramatic lighting. And then
Melissa?
Out in a trench coat walks one of the Mets. And then we're like, oh my God, the next game is against the Mets.
Melissa, you know what you just discovered?
What?
You discovered wrestling. This is exactly what wrestling is. I'm not a big wrestling fan, but that's exactly what it is.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, wrestling, as far as I know, does have post-credit scenes.
It has storylines. It has like revenge tales, all that stuff, upsets. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a live action anime by grown men.
Watch Mojo Top 10 Wrestling Betrayals.
Yeah.
I just imagine my parents going to the baseball game, as they have enjoyed to do in recent years, not including the last calendar year. They go to the baseball game. Just imagine like my dad turning to my mom like, there's supposed to be a big cameo in this. What do you think? I think we're going to open up to MLB Cosmic, and one of the Toronto Blue Jays will be here to tease Blue Jays 3 coming out this summer.
That's it. That is wrestling. That is Blaze Ball. That is all of that stuff.
You hold up an old sports almanac. You're like, I think they're going to redo this storyline. I think they're going to remake this. This is what it's shaping up to be.
That would be wild. Yo,
we're gonna remake
like a meta, almost time travel story of just like, we need to go back and do 1986 again.
Right, it's like the Back to the Future 2 sports almanac. And Biff is like, I'm gonna reboot this game. I don't just want to make winnings off of this through sports gambling. I want to see this. It's already happened, but how do I make it happen? How do I align the world that these teams get these scores against each other again?
That's funny. That's wild. So the past couple of weeks, I've been watching what is called the Fan-Controlled Football League. And I only know about it because Kinda Funny, who I listen to a bunch of their podcasts and stuff like that, they own one of the teams in this football league, and it's a smaller indoor arena football. It's 7-on-7. And it's really high scoring, but the neat thing is that the fans can pick the plays. So like before you're it's like 1st and 10, and you get to vote on what play they run. You have like 15 seconds to vote, and the one that gets the most votes is the one that they do on the field. But Greg Miller is a big wrestling fan, and so he understands this whole idea of like in wrestling, different people within the league play different characters. Some of them are good guys, some of them are bad guys, and stuff like that. So he was like, I'm gonna play a bad guy. I'm gonna play the villain of this league. And he went out the gate swinging, and he made videos and put them up on on Twitter, like calling out the other teams and the owners, being like, "You guys suck. Have you guys seen this thing and that? And this is why you're about to lose," and all of that stuff. And it was wild, and they won the championship. It was crazy. And Gino was there. This has all been taking place in Atlanta. And Chino lives down there, and he's gone to the games the past 2 weeks. He's been making some content kind of around the fan controlled football league and stuff like that. But that also kind of reminds me of that, where like they have the potential to do that and like make storylines and things like that, which would be wild.
Imagine if this was like wrestling, if baseball was wrestling and your team had to be the heel. Like, let's say the Houston Astros had to play heel for that season. How does Houston feel? Do they play the heels at the games? Does nobody want to go to Houston? Like, tourism suffers when it's your team's season to be the heel, but you've got to do it. And then, like, the San Diego Padres are the baby face of that year.
That would be kind of interesting. I think I'd be down. Like, I'd be more interested and involved in the stories and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm not interested in wrestling and all of that stuff. So I don't know how
so much.
Right? Like, yeah, I don't know how, like, when it really comes down to it, I don't know if I want the storylines competing with the actual athleticism in the game. Like, I want the games to play out normally. But I think if you start including storylines, then yeah, you get some strange things where it's like, oh my God, there's now 3 teams on the field, but they all have on just the same jersey. What is happening?
There's alternate universes. Like, hi, I'm the San Francisco Giants from San Francisco 2.
Right?
You opened up the quantum realm
from San
and
Francisco. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't know if I would truly like that. I like it in concept. I don't know, though. I don't know. That'd be good. That if nothing else, it would be entertaining to like go to. Like, I would absolutely go watch a live wrestling match, because like I don't care about the story lines and all that stuff, but to just see it take place,
yes,
like, this is kind of fascinating.
I've always kind of wanted to learn more about wrestling, but I don't personally know anybody who's already into it, and I want like a seasoned veteran to show me. Please have somebody walk me through this. I don't want to do it myself.
There you go. Yeah. We'll have to maybe go down the rabbit hole one day on the captain's log. And just be like, let's see if we can find some interesting wrestling facts.
Okay.
Some interesting wrestling storylines. Something. But there you go. Melissa, I say we wrap things up right there.
We've accomplished a lot.
I think we have accomplished a lot this week. A little bit of housekeeping for you all. If you guys did not know, we have multiple podcasts here at the Whatnauts. You guys can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. Just type in the Whatnauts and all of our shows will pop up right there. If you like what we do, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. We have a $3 tier as well, which gets you all kinds of exclusive content. So be on the lookout for some more of that coming down the road. Big shout out to Sam, who has been here in the chat.
Thanks, Sam.
With us. Thank you, Sam. She is one of the $5 Patreon supporters, and that can get you a shout out on the show. So once again, thank you, Sam, for all your support. It means a lot. You guys can also subscribe to us on Twitch, twitch.tv/the Whatnauts. And if you guys have Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime, which gets you a free subscription you can give out once a month to a streamer of your choice. We would love that to be us here at the Whatnauts, because it does not cost you an extra buck, but it's free money for us, and that means we can do bigger and better things here at the Whatnauts. So yeah. Go check out our Falcon and the Winter Soldier reactions on the Reactor Core. We're about to discuss Season 3 of Halt and Catch Fire on the review show.
Yeah.
And Crossplay is in the thick of things. We're just at the start of the spring. New game announcements for the year are starting to come out and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for all of that. Melissa, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT. And listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities, where me and my brother Jams talk about weird old kids shows you have to remember.
Oh, you guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter. If you guys want to stay up to date with our shows, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. So go like, share, subscribe. You guys know the deal with all of that stuff. That wraps up episode 136 of the Captain's Log. We will get out of here. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.